All right, boys, I'm back today recapping UFC 307, this garbage-ass card. Good thing it was saved by Alex Pereira in the main event. But yeah, let's recap it. Let's get right into it. Starting off with that main event, Alex Pereira defeats Khalil Roundtree Jr. by a fourth-round TKO. Now, listen, man, Khalil held his own up until the middle of the third round, I'd say. He was tagging Alex Pereira. It was a very nerve-wracking fight. I was on the edge of my seat, literally thinking the whole time that any shot Khalil threw was going to KO Pereira, because Pereira had some suspect defense in the beginning of this fight. It looked like he was trying to take Khalil out of there sooner than he should have, and he got hit a couple times. He got kind of knocked off balance in the second round, I believe, and Khalil hit him with a clean head kick at one point. But in Alex Pereira fashion, he destroys Khalil Roundtree, a brutal finish in the fourth round. It looked like an execution. I felt bad for Khalil, honestly, but good effort by Roundtree. He gave him a better fight than anybody else at light heavyweight, arguably. Maybe Jan Blachowicz a little bit better, but Pereira, that was very impressive, nerve-wracking to watch. Yeah, it was entertaining. I think Khalil Roundtree showed that he's one of the best strikers in the world, and yeah, as far as Alex Pereira, I think he should fight Magomed Ankalaev next, assuming Ankalaev gets past Rakic, which I think he will. And for Roundtree Jr., I think he should fight Jamal Hill, and honestly, I think he would smoke Jamal Hill. So, yeah. Jamal Hill, overrated striker, in my opinion. But yeah, that's my thoughts on the main event. Good thing about this main event is to save the card. The freaking co-main event, I'll get to in a second. Absolute snooze fest. I could have took a nap, and I wouldn't have missed much. Snooze fest, they need to keep women's fights on the fight night cards, even the championship ones. Don't put it on the pay-per-view. It ruins the pay-per-view. There was literally shots of the audience falling asleep. So yeah, let's get right into that co-main event. Raquel Pennington loses to Juliana Pena, very controversially in my opinion. I think Raquel Pennington wins this fight 3-2 easily, but not that I care. I mean, who cares about women's bantamweight right now? You can't even name me 5 women's bantamweight fighters. It's horrible. Doesn't matter. Whoever would have won this fight was going to get smashed by Kayla Harrison no matter what. So I think Raquel Pennington deserves an immediate rematch, but she's not going to get one. They're going to give it to Kayla Harrison. I guess rightfully so. No one cares about Pena. She strikes like she's fighting underwater. Raquel Pennington is so slow. Good grief. These girls look like they never trained how to throw a punch in their entire life. An abomination. Get these damn fights off of the UFC pay-per-view cards. I don't want to see it anymore. Put them on a fight night, dude. I don't want to see women's bantamweight fights or even women's flyweight fights on a pay-per-view unless it's like bottom prelims. I'm tired of these snoozers. Good thing the main event made up for it. Let's get off of this fight. Jose Aldo versus Mario Bautista. Mario Bautista is a coward. He took the Marab way. He literally stalled and held Jose Aldo against the fence. And when he wasn't holding Jose Aldo against the fence, he was getting busted up and beat. So, yeah, I think the judges got this wrong. I think off of damage, you give this to Aldo. And Mario Bautista, he arguably should fight down in the rankings for fighting like an absolute coward. You get the chance to fight Jose Aldo and you fight like a little bitch. Dude, that was embarrassing. This is one of the most frustrating fights to watch. Pissed me off the whole time. I'm watching this fight card at work, mind you, and I'm just seeing Mario Bautista stall against the fence like a little coward, fighting Jose Aldo, the legend himself, a 38-year-old, and he's getting out cardio, he's getting out hustle, so what he's like, man, I'm going to stall against the fence. And then in the post-fight interview, oh, it's not my fault he couldn't get off the fence. Mario Bautista's a coward. He should fight like Rob Font or something, and Jose Aldo, give him Song Yadong. Because I think Jose Aldo deserves after that win by Jose Aldo, because it did go to the wrong person, that was a robbery in my opinion. But yeah, Mario Bautista, embarrassing. Don't put him on the main card of a pay-per-view. Don't give him any good fights. He doesn't deserve much after that performance. It was embarrassing. And yeah, go ahead and call me a cope. Go ahead and tell me I'm glazing Jose Aldo, but man, come on. If you're going to get a chance to fight a legend and you're going to stall against the fence and then talk about it's martial arts, no, dude. That's embarrassing, and he should have been split up more. Either way, I guess good win by Mario Bautista, even though I think he lost. Put him against Rob Font and Jose Aldo against Song Yadong. Let's move on to the next fight on the card. Roman Dolidze versus Kevin Holland. Unfortunately, Kevin Holland seemed to break a rib after the first round, or towards the end of the first round, and it was called off. At first, I was like, Kevin Holland's a coward. He should have went back out, but I was heated because I wanted to see the fight. Obviously, a broken rib. He can go back out there. He was going to get finished anyway, so smart call by his coaches. Roman Dolidze did look good in this fight. I did predict that Kevin Holland to win. But Roman Dolidze, man, he's good. Well, he's not great, but he was looking good. He got Kevin Holland to the ground. He was dominating on the ground. And arguably winning some of the striking exchanges. But Dolidze, he's just not good enough on the feet, I think, to go all the way to the belt. I think once he's going to hit, I think he should fight Cannonier next, but he's going to hit a certain ceiling where he's just going to get beat because he's too slow, too flat-footed, not a good striker. He has grappling, but he can't get the fight to the ground most times unless you're fighting Kevin Holland who doesn't have good takedown defense. But for Kevin Holland, give him some time off. He probably needs like 8 months to heal that rib. And for Roman Dolidze, I think he should fight Cannonier. Good fight either way. Not really, because it ended after the first round. But let's move on. Ketlen Vieira versus Kayla Harrison. Yeah, who cares? Kayla Harrison won by unanimous decision. Literally no one cares about Ketlen Vieira. Couldn't even tell you who she fought before this. She's number 2 in the world, and she, again, just like the other girls, fights like she's underwater. So, embarrassing. I watched this fight. I didn't enjoy it the most. I think that Kayla Harrison's going to smoke Pena, or if Pennington won, she'd have smoked her too. But, yeah, Kayla Harrison, solid win. She did get busted open, but she did dominate towards the end of the fight. So, what can I say? Let's move on. Not going to spend too much time. Now, this fight right here was heartbreaking. Wonderboy Thompson, 41 years old. And you know, even Wonderboy at 41 is one of the best strikers in the UFC. But man, Joaquin Buckley at welterweight apparently is a problem. 5-0 since moving down to welterweight. And he really just rushed in the entire fight and threw Mike Tyson like haymakers, hoping it lands. Got some takedowns on Wonderboy, but Joaquin Buckley was fighting very recklessly. And he was getting tagged on the way in by Wonderboy over and over, just getting clipped. But at the end of the day, man, third round, he clocks Wonderboy. I think it was with a big right hand, and Wonderboy goes down. And yeah, Wonderboy, I think, is 1-4 in his last 5. So not looking great. He said he wants to fight till 45 years old. So for Stephen Thompson, that was brutal to watch. I say give him Michael Venom Page, him versus striker. That'd be entertaining. It might be a snooze fest because they're both so defensive and counter strikers. But man, yeah, that sucked. For Joaquin Buckley, maybe give him a Sean Brady. Something like that at Ian Gary. He called out Usman. I don't think Usman takes that fight. Usman's probably looking for a title shot, even though he's on a 3-fight losing streak. But Usman's going to want to fight somebody higher up the ranks if he doesn't get a title shot. So, yeah. Buckley versus Brady or Buckley versus Ian Gary, I think, is the fight to make. Let's move on to the next fight down the card. Who cares about this fight? Marina Rodriguez versus Yasmin Lacendo. Like, I had to go take a bathroom break during this one because if I cared any less, it would be a fucking crime. I don't care about this fight. Yay, Yasmin Lacendo won. Moving on. Austin Hubbard versus Alexander Hernandez. The battle of the journeyman, if you can even call him that. Alexander Hernandez, known to bounce between featherweight and lightweight, but he said he's going to stay at lightweight. Austin Hubbard spam takedowns, didn't get a single one. Neither of these guys are impressive. They're both mid fighters. Alexander Hernandez gasses out every single fight. He's a little bit more measured in his approach in this fight, and he landed some good shots on Hubbard, but Hubbard was cracking him with some elbows in the fight. But either way, this fight was unimpressive by either fighter. I'm not going to matchmake them. I don't care who they fight. They're irrelevant. I'm joking, man. All these fighters are good. It's just this card kind of sucked. It was a huge letdown. Pissed me off, man. I watched this card at work and had to, in between customers at work, watch this card. And some of these fights just really put a sour taste in my mouth. Good win by Alexander Hernandez. Yeah, let's move on. Cesar Almeida versus Ihor Potieria. Now, this is one of the worst showcases of a referee just not doing anything about eye pokes or nut shots. Like, bro, Cesar Almeida must have eye poked Ihor Potieria like 8 times and then nut shotted him twice. It was ridiculous. The ref, dude, he didn't take a single point. He even ignored some of the eye pokes. That ref should never ref a fight again. Bro had to have money on Cesar Almeida or something because Cesar Almeida was clearly just eye gouging Ihor Potieria over and over, and of course he wins by unanimous decision. I do think he probably would have won either way, but come on, dude. Let's make the fights more fair. Let's stop eye poking. I mean, Cesar Almeida, he was doing his best John Jones impression tonight, and yeah, I guess it got him the win because he won a unanimous decision. So, as far as matchmaking, Ihor Potieria probably going to get cut from the UFC. Cesar Almeida, maybe he can fight like Kevin Holland. Maybe Kevin Holland versus Cesar Almeida, a nice striking matchup after they both heal up. Let's move on. Ryan Spann looked incredible versus Ovince St. Preux. One of the better wins of his career. He smoked Ovince St. Preux. He knocked him down. And then I think he knocked him down. He don't have a knockdown, but he clocked him and then locked up a guillotine and OSP tapped pretty quick. It was a battle of who was going to get the submission first, OSP with the Von Flue choke or Ryan Spann with his guillotine. I think he has 11 first-round submissions in his career. Super impressive. Ryan Spann on any given night can be one of the best light heavyweights in the world, but man, sometimes his fight IQ is just not there. Like whenever he fought Anthony Smith, knowing that Anthony Smith is weak to leg kicks, he doesn't throw any leg kicks, and then he loses. Like Ryan Spann has so much potential and athleticism, but he chooses to fight like an idiot sometimes. Hopefully he can stay focused going forward. Maybe you can do next a Ryan Spann versus like a Johnny Walker rematch. That would be good. I don't think they fought again. I know Johnny Walker beat him in the first fight because once again he had a low IQ mistake. But good win for Ryan Spann. For OSP, I'd like to see him retire. 41 years old. I think he's just fighting for money at this point. I don't think he can beat many light heavyweights at this point. I know he's gotten a win recently, but OSP, dude, you had your time. It's time to hang it up, brother. Moving on. Admittedly, I didn't watch these last two fights, but literally, who cares? Congrats to Carla Esparza on her retirement, but as far as Tisha Pennington, I heard it was a robbery. Literally, who cares about this fight? Not me, not anyone. And yeah, let's move right along to the first fight on the card, the Battle of the Old Heads. I wasn't able to watch this fight either, but Court McGee got the submission in the first round against Tim Means. Tim Means at this point, I think he's 1-5 in his last 6. The Dirty Bird, man, it's time to hang it up, dude. I think you've taken enough damage. I'd like to see Tim Means right off into the sunset. Maybe he can do one more send-off fight, but I wouldn't be mad if we didn't see Tim Means again. He's had a long career. He's taken a lot of damage, a lot of punishment. And for Court McGee, man, listen, maybe you can do Court McGee versus I don't even know, dude. I don't got anybody for Court McGee. Maybe Court McGee can fight Wonder Boy, and Wonder Boy can piece him up. Dude, Wonder Boy would destroy Court McGee. I don't know at this point. Either way, this was my recap of UFC 307. Pretty mid-card, a lot of disappointing fights. You expected Kayla Harrison to go in there and destroy Ketlin Vieira, but goes to decision. Mario Bautista fought like an absolute pussy, and he ended up beating Jose Aldo and then had the audacity to get on the mic after and say what he said. And then the co-main event, an absolute snoozer. I should have took a nap, but the main event made up for it. One of the best title fight. I think the most exciting title fight of this year for Alex Pereira out of all three was this fight. Back and forth, and then in the fourth round, he absolutely brutalized Khalil. Like, that was hard to watch. Khalil's face was unrecognizable. But yeah, these are my thoughts and matchmaking some of the fighters on UFC 307. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. And yeah, as always, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.